Chapter 7. Ancient Rome. The Roman Empire was huge. It set boundaries, built cities, and gave many names to places that are used today. To get to know the effect on the Roman Empire on the modern world, we're going to take a minute and do a few activities. First, what city is it today? Look at the map and look at the major cities of the Roman Empire at its height. Check the location of the cities against the maps in Europe, Asia, Africa, in an atlas. Study the names of the cities. Compare the locations and names. What are the names of some of these cities today? Take a few minutes to do that as you pause the video, and after you've identified, 2, 3, maybe 4, come back and we'll work on our next activity. Next, name that country. Study the same map and tell me which of today's countries match the following areas that were ruled by Rome. What is the country of Gaul, Numidia, Judea, Syria, Asia Minor, Thrace, and Dacia? You can complete those as you pause the video. Do so, discuss with somebody, and then we will restart the video when you're ready. So some of those countries that was part of the Roman Empire: Gaul would have been France, Numidia is Libya in northern Africa, Judea would be present-day Israel, Syria is still Syria, Asia Minor would be Turkey, Thrace would be present-day Bulgaria, and Dacia, if you were able to find it, which is a tough one, would be some of the present-day countries of Romania and Hungary. Chapter 7, Section 1. The Roman Republic. Remember when you started the school year? What did it feel like to be in a new class, or perhaps in a new school, and to begin new subjects? Was it exciting? Was it scary? What is it like to face a new world with new challenges and new responsibilities? Questions to think about through this section. Why did the early Romans form a republic? And 2, why did the Roman Republic collapse? Key terms that will be defined for you through the Google Classroom: republic, patrician, plebeian, council, veto, and dictator. Key people and places will be Romulus and Remus, Etruscans, Julius Caesar, Octavian, Tiber River, Rome, Italy, Carthage, and Gaul. Please make sure to have your Google Doc open throughout this video so that you can complete it through the Google Classroom and submit when you have finished. Americans learn about the founding of their nation as young people. They read about the 13 British colonies, the battles of Lexington and Concord, and the leadership of George Washington. They learn about the final victory of the new nation, the United States of America. In ancient times, young Romans also learned about the founding of their state, but it was a story that mixed a little fact with a great deal of legend. The main characters in the story were twin brothers, Romulus and Remus. They were the children of a princess and Mars, who was the Roman god of war. A jealous king feared that the twins would someday seize power from him. He ordered them to be drowned. However, the gods protected the infants. A female wolf rescued them. Then a shepherd found the twins and raised them as his own. The twins grew up, killed the king, and went off to build their own city. At a place where 7 hills rise above the Tiber River, they founded the city of Rome. Rome's geographic setting. We can learn much from the story of Rome's founding, even if it is mostly legend. We learn that the Romans valued loyalty and justice. People who broke the law would be severely punished, just as the king was punished. We also learn that Romans believed that the favor of the gods was important. The first settlers on Rome's 7 hills were not thinking about building a great empire. They chose that site because it seemed to be a good place to live. The hills made it easy to defend. The soil was fertile. There was a river. But as centuries passed, the people of Rome discovered that the location of their city gave them other advantages. Rome was at the center of a long, narrow peninsula now called Italy. Italy was at the center of the Mediterranean Sea, and the Mediterranean Sea was at the center of the known Western world. Rome's beginnings. We know very little about the people who actually founded Rome. However, we do know that their first settlements date from about the 900s BC. Rome grew slowly as the Romans fought their neighbors for land. About 600 BC, a mysterious people, the Etruscans, took power in Rome. They spoke a language totally unlike any other in Italy. Although we have many examples of their writing, we can read very little of it. Where had they come from? Even today, no one is sure. For a time, Etruscans ruled as kings of Rome. However, in 509 BC, the Romans revolted and drove the Etruscans from power. Although the Romans defeated the Etruscans, the victors adopted Etruscan ideas. For example, many of the Roman gods were originally Etruscan. The Romans also borrowed the Greek alphabet that the Etruscans used. The Roman garment, called the toga, came from the Etruscans. Rome becomes a republic. After driving the last Etruscan king from the throne, the Romans vowed never again to put so much trust in kings. They created a new form of government, a republic. In a republic, citizens who have the right to vote select their leaders. The leaders rule in the name of the people. In the Roman Republic, the most powerful part of the government was a group called the Senate. At first, the Senate was made up only of 300 upper-class men called patricians. Ordinary citizens were known as plebeians. In the early republic, plebeians could not hold office or be senators. The government was led by two men called consuls. Before 367 BC, plebeians could not be consuls. The Senate advised the consuls on foreign affairs, laws, and finances, among other things. Consuls almost always did what the Senate wanted. Consuls ruled for 1 year only. Power was divided equally between them. Both had to agree before the government could take any action. If one consul said veto or I forbid it, the matter was dropped. Today we use the word veto to mean the rejection of a bill by a president. The Romans knew that their government might not work if the two consuls disagreed in an emergency. For this reason, Roman law held that a dictator could be appointed to handle an emergency. A dictator was an official who had all the powers of a king, but could hold office for only 6 months. Patricians versus plebeians. Through wars of conquest, the Roman Republic extended its control across Italy. Within about 250 years, Rome had conquered almost all of Italy. This caused growing troubles between patricians and plebeians. Patricians and plebeians had different attitudes. Patricians thought of themselves as leaders. They fought hard to keep control over the government. Plebeians believed they had a right to be respected and treated fairly. Plebeians did not trust the actions of the patrician Senate. They felt the Senate was often unfair to the plebeians. Therefore, plebeians formed their own groups to protect their interests. Many patricians grew wealthy because of Rome's conquests. They took riches from defeated people. Then they brought land from small farmers and created huge farms for themselves. Plebeians did not work on these farms. Rather, the work was done by slaves brought back from conquest. Many plebeian farmers found themselves without work. The cities, especially Rome, were filled with jobless plebeians. Eventually, angry plebeians refused to fight in the Roman army. Then the patricians gave in to one of their main demands. This was a written code of laws called the Laws of the 12 Tables. The 12 Tables applied equally to all citizens. They were hung in marketplaces so everyone could know what the laws were. Despite this victory, the plebeians never managed to gain power equal to the patricians. Master of the Mediterranean. While patricians and plebeians fought for power in Rome, Roman armies were conquering new territories. Roman armies invaded the North African Empire of the city of Carthage. After a series of bloody wars, they destroyed the empire of Carthage. They also seized control of Spain. Other Roman armies conquered Greece. Then, the Romans turned their attention to the warlike tribes of Gaul, which is now France. The end of the Republic. Even though it ruled a large area, by 120 BC, Rome was in trouble. Some leaders tried to break up estates and give land to the plebeians. The patricians fought back, and plebeian leaders were murdered. In the next 75 years, a number of the most successful generals gathered private armies around them and fought for power. Councils no longer respected each other's veto power. Rome dissolved into civil war, with private armies roaming the streets and murdering their enemies. As Rome seemed about to break up, Julius Caesar arose as a strong ruler. The rise of Julius Caesar. Caesar was a smart leader, eager for power. From 58 BC to 51 BC, he led his army in conquering Gaul. He killed, enslaved, and uprooted millions of Gauls. He captured huge amounts of gold. His strong leadership won him the loyalty of his troops. They would follow him anywhere, even back to Rome to seize power. In 49 BC, Caesar returned to Italy. War broke out between Caesar and the Senate. Caesar won the war and became dictator of the Roman world in 48 BC. The death of a dictator. For 4 years, Caesar took over important public offices. In 45 BC, he became the only consul. In 44 BC, he became dictator for life. Caesar took many useful steps to reorganize the government, but it seemed to many senators that Rome once again had a king. They hated this idea. On March 15, 44 BC, Caesar attended a meeting of the Senate. His wife had urged him not to go, fearing danger, but Caesar insisted on going. At the meeting, a group of senators gathered around Caesar. Suddenly, they pulled out knives and began stabbing him. He fell to the ground, dead. Caesar had been a great leader. However, many Romans felt that he had gone too far, too fast in gathering power. Civil war followed Caesar's death. When the war ended 13 years later, Caesar's adopted son, Octavian, held power. In 27 BC, the Senate awarded Octavian the title Augustus, which means highly respected. He was the first emperor of Rome. This is now the end of Chapter 7, Section 1. At this point, there's a few questions you should be able to answer. Number 1. Why did the Romans want the Republic to have 2 leaders rather than just one? Number 2. What factors enabled Julius Caesar to come to power? Finally, why would the Roman Senate be likely to lead the opposition to Caesar's growing power? Once you're able to answer these questions, you've come to your conclusions. Please make sure that you have completed the Google Doc through the Google Classroom and make sure to submit. Once you've done this, we'll see you in class tomorrow.